That was close. All right. For the benefit of the secretary, we have in the meeting Timothy Perkins, Kenny Cernak, Pablo Serrato, Rachel Salo, Taylor Rickey, Tim Sipple, and William Johnson Jr. All right, and now we're going to look at the agenda. All right, and the agenda has a slight modification compared to when I sent it out earlier. That is just that I updated the consent agenda to reflect that I added the February 8th, or I added to the consent agenda the February 8th, 2023 minutes being approved, which I actually didn't fully write that out. Timothy moved. Gonna have to go check who seconded that.
Yeah, it was me.
Yeah. I just realized that I needed to record the votes as well, so it'll be another moment. Sorry about that. All right, we have Tim, Will, Rachel. Okay, that's been updated. Okay, so Timothy Perkins moved and Tim Sipple seconded to approve the February 8th, 2023 minutes prepared by the chair. And then the votes are in there as well. So is there anything else that needs updated on this agenda? Is there a motion to approve this agenda?
I move to approve the agenda.
Taylor moves
I'll second.
and Kenny seconds. Is there any objection? I'm sorry, I heard something. I didn't catch it. Okay, I'll check once more. Is there any objection to approving this agenda as it appears? Okay, great. All right, then we have approved the agenda. We do not have any minutes to approve. I'm going to address that briefly in my officer's report. Moving along the consent agenda, the only item of business that was conducted in between meetings was that the February 8th minutes were prepared by myself and then approved by email vote so that they could get to the treasurer so that we could have those minutes to present to another organization to help with some of the business. For the benefit of the minutes of this meeting, Will Hobson has joined. All right. Okay, we are now to open forum. Observers may speak on any agenda item, but I don't believe that we have any observers this evening. Yep, we have 8 directors, and that's all that are present in the meeting at this time. So I suppose if any director wants to say something out of turn, that would be fine, but otherwise we'll just address it on the appropriate place in the agenda. Okay, hearing none, moving along, reports of officers. I've done some subcommittee work with Pablo, basically working toward being ready for our primary election, as well as of some discussion on data committee items. I think specifically with regards to the non-disclosure agreements that are a part of the process for using the CRM that we're using with National. I also received an email from a member who was rather concerned about the state of the minutes on our website. So I went and I made sure to post all of the available minutes to the website. And in so doing, I realized that we are quite further behind than I had realized. There are 9 meetings for which we do not have approved minutes. And as far as I can tell, we don't have any minutes that are outstanding waiting to be approved. So that's potentially a problem. It is required by state law that we keep records of minutes. We do have recordings of all of these meetings, so minutes can be prepared, but that's we're missing nearly half of the minutes for this term. I don't have a specific motion or anything along that line, but this needs to be rectified as soon as possible, and I'm open to hearing suggestions as to what to do. Pablo, you raised your hand.
Yeah, is there a regulatory number of minutes that we're required to?
Sorry, could you
meet?
repeat that?
And requiring us? Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm having a lot of internet connectivity problems. I'm gonna put my question in the chat.
Okay. Yeah, your audio was breaking up. While Pablo types that up, Taylor, I think that you were going to speak up.
Yes, so I have some unfinished minutes that I can submit back to the board. Things that I just haven't finished. I can go. I apologize. Hold on 1 second.
Okay, so Pablo asked in the chat, are the rules about the minimum, are there, I believe is what he intended to write, are there rules about the minimum number of minutes required for our organization? Nonprofit corporations like ours are simply required to keep minutes of what we do. Otherwise, we don't have legal proof that we did take the actions that we took. And so we could, there's liability questions. Each director in our on this board is liable for the actions or lack thereof for the party. And so we need to have proof of what we have and have not done in case a question along those lines came up at some point.
Sorry about
And,
that.
and we do have the recordings. So I would say that we kind of have a fallback, but we also want to, of course, be transparent with our members as far as what it is that we're up to around here. And yeah, we're missing nearly half of what we've been doing this term.
Okay.
Barring that, could I just download the sort of transcript that YouTube creates for a meeting and dump it into a file and put it on the website while we work on minutes in terms of giving people transparency and also linking to our meetings? Like maybe this is something the IT committee can take on. Every place where we should have minutes, we can by default also provide links to that particular YouTube.
Yes, so that is actually something that I did on the minutes page on our website. I linked to all the YouTube recordings that have been approved for public use. There are some past YouTube recordings that were not approved because there were concerns about people's children appearing or whatnot, and people not expecting those recordings to be made public. But those recordings are still available. They're just not public on our YouTube channel. And so we can still create minutes from those as well. But if you go to the minutes page on our website, there is, thank you for posting it in the chat. There is a YouTube link for each date that we have a public YouTube recording for. Taylor, I feel like you were still.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry about that. So yes, I have some minutes for meetings that I've attended. I will go ahead and finish those up, send those off. And then if you guys want, we can approve them throughout the month, and by next month we'll be caught up. I have some, and then the ones that I haven't, I can watch the YouTube video and transcribe and get those minutes posted. I can start on that as soon as tomorrow. So
okay, so that to me sounds great. If we're going to get caught up by next month, I feel like that's a great correction.
okay.
I will mention, as far as the transcripts, Pablo, that generally speaking, YouTube won't label who's speaking, and so they'll be more difficult to use in that regard. But Taylor, if you find it useful to try to get a transcript off of our YouTube recordings, that would be fine. Also, the only other thing that I would think of with that is that, Taylor, if you want to get in contact with me as far as any of the recordings that you're having a hard time finding, I'll make sure that, actually, you know what, I can just, after this meeting, I'll send you an email with a link to all the ones that are not public and make sure that you can see them.
Okay, thank you. And then if we could just via email approve the minutes and get them up on the website throughout the month, by April 12th, I'll have them, we'll be caught up. So
All right.
if everybody okay with that.
If anybody else has any thoughts, now is a good time. Okay. The only other thing is for my report is that I believe that the LNC has, I'm actually not certain if the ballot has closed, but I believe that they've selected Andrew Watkins to be the LNC vice chair. And Andrew was previously representing or Mr. Watkins, I should say, was previously representing, I am struggling to remember, I want to say Region 5, but I could be corrected on that. I believe he was a regional representative and has been selected as the vice chair of the LNC. All right. Are there any questions regarding the chair's report? Okay, taxation is theft, and I'll pass it along to the vice chair, Will.
Yes, I've been helping get our committees spun up and meeting more regularly. The affiliate committee, the campaigns committee, the fundraising committee, and are now meeting on more or less a monthly basis. And so I kind of see that as right now one of my goals is before the convention is to have those kind of internal organs of the party kind of functioning and helping, support the party. And I hate to use the word synergistically, but maybe symbiotically, kind of helping create kind of a virtuous circle of aiding our our funding and our campaigning and recruiting, which is kind of all has to be kind of like working at the same time in order, I feel like, to build up the party. But yeah, so that's happening. Matt Rowe is now the chair of the campaigns committee. Taylor is taking on the chairing of the fundraising committee. Katie is, of course, still chair of the affiliate committee, although we could definitely use some more people on there. And yeah, we should also have another meeting of the convention committee and get more things ironed out and start getting ready for this convention. I've been a little taxed recently. Hopefully that's not too triggering a word. With the Rage Against the War Machine event, which happened in Washington, D.C. on the 19th. I flew out there to D.C. I got to see a lot of our very prominent libertarian thinkers and national party officials put on a really amazing event where we had at least a couple thousand people showed up from very many different political backgrounds, and I feel like our party definitely gained some prestige and notoriety from being able to piece together a really terrific anti-war movement on the National Mall. And I think we really took a really good step in the right direction of changing the perception in the public eye of like what the Libertarian Party is and what our core values are. So yeah, that was great. I was simultaneously exhausted and rejuvenated by it. So getting back home now, I'm trying to get back in the swing of things and trying to help out. I'm going to be honest, I'm fighting off a little bit of burnout, but I'm trying to keep it in there. I just came back from a meeting with a bunch of people in the Green Party who may be interested in eventually possibly not being Greens anymore, but we'll see. So they have expressed multiple times that they feel very libertarian adjacent, and their values are not that of the current Green Party. So I find that very interesting. And at the very least, they'll make good allies on some issue coalitions. So yeah, that's pretty much all for now, that at least that I can remember. If there's any questions, let me know.
All right, any questions for the vice chair? Okay, thank you, Will. Moving along, we have the treasurer. Go ahead, Kenny. You are on mute. Okay.
I just had to find the mouse. So I'm in the process of catching up, reporting. I managed to pay the outstanding fines that we had. We currently have $1,357.24 in the bank account. I believe we are a little bit past due on paying for the next 6 months of the PO box, which I'll take care of as an in-kind if Katie hasn't set that back up to auto pay. I'll touch base with her and figure that out. But yeah, for adding access to the online account, apparently ours was set up as a personal account and not a small business account for the online access, not the account itself, but the online access portion, which is why I could never figure out how to like have another person with access. So I've confirmed that I would like that changed, so hopefully they'll get that. And to add a signer now, we have to go in person. I'm trying to figure out if Will and I'll have to go together, or if just I go or just he goes, and if we need an appointment. So
Okay,
that's
and
where we are on adding that. I believe I got Will access to Click and Pledge.
You did. Yes, thank you.
good, if you need, depending on what you hear back from the bank, if you need me to sign as well, feel free to coordinate with me. And you and I were already talking about possibly meeting this weekend. So if we happen to time it right with the bank's hours, perhaps you, Will, and I could all hit a branch at the right time.
Okay.
So yeah, let me know.
I do work Thursday through Sunday, 11 to like 6, and I'm in Hood River, so
Okay, well that'll be a little bit more challenging than
Monday through Wednesday possibly.
Monday to Wednesday. Okay, yeah, that should work. I can, if I plan ahead, I should be able to make some time in their work and see where the closest branch to Mount Hood or Hood River is.
Okay.
Any questions for me?
How much were the fines, and is it appropriate to discuss in open session what those were for?
Yeah. Oh, because I was late reporting stuff, so I got fined. And it's based on the amount of the transactions. So one was like 58 bucks and change, and one was 80-ish. So, and because I do it, I pay them. Kyle was gonna have a lawsuit, I think, at one point. He was gonna do a court challenge to that, but I don't know if anything ever came of that.
All right, thank you, Kenny. We'll move along to the report from our secretary.
I have not a whole lot to report for being secretary. I will get those minutes caught up, those 9, and that's my task. So can I make an action item to get caught up on remaining minutes?
Yep, feel free to add that to the action item document.
Awesome. And that's my report
All
for
right.
secretary.
If you, again, need anything with regards to preparing the minutes, shoot me a text.
I'll reach out. Thank you, Timothy.
Any questions for the secretary? All right. Moving along then, without objection, I've changed the campaigns committee leader to Matt Rao here on the agenda. Just give it a moment. If there's an objection, we'll switch it back, but that was based on Will's report. All right. So first off, we have fundraising, and I know that that committee's been doing things this month. Go ahead, Taylor.
It has been. So with the guidance of Will, who's really helped keep committee meetings running and on task and scheduled. So a lot of thanks to Will for that. We've been able to come up with a plan for fundraising. We wrote a script. Pablo had generated a script for calling and asking for donations for the convention and general fundraising. Also an email. The committee's been working in the planning stages of starting
this spring to collect donations and hopefully move the needle. So very proud and happy to see where it goes.
All right. And we don't, or Will, perhaps you can supplement here. You've now had access to the click and pledge. Did you see a correlation with donations with this activity, or any reports of success in that area? Maybe you weren't looking at it.
I'm still learning how to use it, to be quite frank.
Will and I did a Zoom, and I was showing him where to click, and we figured it out. We saw 2 transactions in February that correlated with a email blast for people to donate to support the LPO convention in Tigard, based off of a list that we got from Timothy Perkins, which indicated in which people were asked if they would donate to support the LPO convention in Tigard, and so 26 emails and 2 donations from that.
And I think it was 150 between those 2 donations.
Okay, so maybe I am using it correct. I thought maybe it was just missing information. Yeah, did get access to the click and pledge. Pablo is also going to be helping me out with that. So we are trying to kind of aggregate data so we can have a usable fundraising list, and we are piecing it together. And we're the committees. Yeah, it looks like it's meeting regularly, so that's hopeful.
This is one of the better fundraising reports that I've heard. We did fundraising and money came in. Way to go. Baby steps. All right, thank you, Taylor. Is there anything else for fundraising before we move on? Okay, campaigns. Mr. Rao does not appear to be in the meeting. I will note, for the sake of attendance for the minutes for this meeting, that Marion Skinner joined. Welcome. Does anyone have anything for campaigns before we move along?
We are doing things in campaigns committee. We do plan to basically have kind of we're basically going to have a campaigns manual. Matt's going to help us create it, for local candidates and for, getting people started. We are going to aggregate, maybe some of the mistakes that were made during the last campaign cycle and try to make sure we don't make them again. We're going to start preparing for 2024. There's really not much we can do at this point for any races in 2023. So we're going to try to kind of just start getting ready for a big presidential cycle election. We are doing things. And I'll have probably more to report on next time. So.
Okay. Thank you for stepping in for that report. Anything else for campaigns before we move on? Okay. Next, we have you, Will, for the Public Relations Committee.
Still in charge of a bunch of committees. All right, but yeah, public relations, we posted some of the public policy board graphics that Sonia made up, which are great. We talked about some of those some of the policy statements. That was great. We also, again, I've been doing a lot of outreach to a lot of different groups that might, consider themselves somewhat politically homeless, labelless, trying to bring them a little bit closer into our orbit and show them that we don't bite. And because we believe in the non-aggression principle, and it's like, again, the Rage Against the War Machine was a big event that I think went really well, and I think, again, gained us a lot of goodwill and a lot of stature with some really good and very energetic activists. So I think we will reap the benefits of that for many years to come. And I know we have more actions planned. And I'm looking forward to, the convention, and hopefully inviting some speakers there that will, maybe take a second look at us once they, see the great attendance we're able to turn out for the convention. So yeah, that's pretty much what's going on. The Public Relations Committee doesn't really meet like the other committees do. I feel like the Public Policy Board kind of takes on a lot of the responsibility for that, and a lot of other committees kind of take on like event, like public event roles. So if anyone is interested in being on this committee and wants it to meet and wants the committee to start taking on some more responsibility, we can have that discussion. But at the moment, I'm not really I don't have a burning desire to try to get this committee up and running as well and meeting regularly. So if anyone thinks that's not a good idea, they'll let me know. So
Yeah, this committee mostly just tries to put out there what it is that we're doing, and I feel like it's been doing that. So as long as that continues to happen, it's good. Anything else for public relations? All right, thank you, Will. Next is the IT committee. Pablo.
Hello. My report is I've been doing a few things. IT is really a committee that supports all of our wonderful volunteers and our wonderful board members in doing their job by providing them data and information to help them get their stuff through. And everything is on the internet, so I've been busy. I updated the LPO website, as Will mentioned, with Public Policy Board documents to every time the Public Policy Board issues a policy, we put that press release and the policy that on the website. So I've been doing that for them in coordination with that team. Sonia Feintek is their secretary. In order to better help Sonia do her job, I gave her edit rights to the to edit content related to the LPO Public Policy Board on the website. That's one thing. The other thing is with the help of our treasurer, I got 26 files representing the last few years of LPO donor data, and I merged that into a single file with help of ChatGPT using a Google Doc. And so using that list of LPO donors and the help of LPO IT committee member Michelle Bird, I joined that donor data to our CRM data in order to get email data and phone numbers to help the fundraising committee start dialing and calling people up for donations. So that yielded 66 emails and 35 phone numbers that I'll be handing over to Taylor and team so they can dial against that. Then I helped LPO Peter of Clackamas County send an email with a fundraising message about a pool tournament that will be happening later this month in Clackamas County. And lastly, I sent out 25 emails to people who indicated they would donate to help support the LPO convention in Tigard. And I used that, I did that with the help of Timothy Perkins. Lastly, if anyone's interested in donating, our YouTube audience, you can go to lpooregon.org/donate and donate there. Any questions, ideas, or comments, feedback? If not, I'll drop my report in the chat so that it can help with minutes.
All right, thank you. Okay, moving along, we have the bylaws committee. That's my committee. My committee has not met. We have had some discussion about possible bylaws amendments in the committee, in the subcommittee channel on the Discord. We're kicking around some good ideas, and we're probably going to meet pretty soon here, maybe as early as next week. Any questions regarding bylaws committee? Hearing none, moving along to the affiliate committee. Katie is not here. Does anyone else have something for affiliates?
We could use more people on the committee. Aiden had to drop out of pretty much every committee on the LPO, and Peter's not on there anymore. So we are down to 3 members, me, Katie, and Gunnar Power. So if anyone would like to join the affiliate committee, we would appreciate your help. Oh, and thank you so much, Pablo, for all the work you did on the IT committee. It's been fantastic. I'm so glad you're here.
Second. All right, thank you for that brief report. Those of you watching on YouTube as well, if you want to help us create more county organizations, we'd love to have some help on that committee. All right, member development. Brad Lee is not present at tonight's meeting. He sent us, the directors, a heads up that he wouldn't be able to make it tonight. As far as I know, the only upcoming event that we have related to our members is the pool tournament, which I want to say is on March 26th. I'd love to be corrected or confirmed on that date, for which is being hosted by Libertarians in Clackamas County. Actually, I think we have someone from Clackamas in here. Marion, do you know details on this event?
Yeah, let me find it. Hang on. Sorry, technical difficulties. Come back to me.
All right. Anything else for member development? All right.
I'm sorry, I couldn't find my window, but yeah, that is going to be. I have the flyer. It is Sunday, March 26th at 5 p.m. at Wichita Town Pub in Milwaukee, Oregon. I'll drop the image in this and add it to the LPO calendar. All of our events are represented usually on lpo.org/events, where we have a calendar of stuff that's going on. I'm going to add this right now. And this will have all the details for the fundraiser, which is a $20 buy-in, and you can donate now at lpo.org/events or donate to buy into the pool tournament.
All right, great. Thank you, everyone. Moving along then, unless we have anything else going once. Go ahead.
Actually, just wanted to really quickly tell Matt Rowe messaged me at the beginning of the meeting. I didn't see it till just now that he was wondering if he should attend, and he didn't get a link to this meeting.
Okay.
So I just sent him the link. If we could add his email to the cool kids list for next time.
All right. Yes.
And
that is possible.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, and one other thing, is it possible that we could get the action LPO board action item list on the main LPO Google Drive folder so we can find it? I was just looking for it, and there's a document here, but it doesn't have anything on it.
All right. Let me look for that after this meeting. Just a moment. I'm creating a list of things that I need to do after this meeting.
Thank you. If not, I can start one, but just if there's already one that's got stuff on it.
All right, I'll send you the link after this meeting. At least make sure it's the right document.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Okay, moving along, there are no special orders. Unfinished and new business. We have the 2023 LPO Convention Committee. Will.
Yeah, we should meet again. And we did want to bring Pablo on to the committee. I think we have 3 members. Actually, I think we have 4 members. Is Marion still here? Yeah, we have
Yep.
4 members of the committee. I know Leon isn't here. I don't know if that's kosher to vote without him. Probably not, but
It would be fine.
it would be fine. Okay.
Yeah,
Then-
so without objection, we're gonna hold a subcommittee vote with Will Hobson, Marion Skinner, Taylor Rickey, and Timothy Perkins. And Will, you go ahead and make that subcommittee motion.
Sure. As the chair of the 2023 LPO Convention Committee, I would like to motion that we add Pablo Serrato to the 2023 LPO Convention Committee.
I'll second that motion.
I'll vote aye.
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 Okay. Thank you, everyone. So Pablo, you've been added by the committee members.
I will update the LPO affiliate county party, or wait, no, wrong. I will update the list.
The committee tracking document. Got it.
LPO board and committee contacts me. Yes.
All right. I want to mention for the sake of the minutes that Matt Rao has joined the meeting. Welcome. And then we'll continue with this item. Is there anything else for the convention committee?
I have a question,
Kenny?
and I hope I didn't miss it if it was already spoken to. We have to make an additional payment, do we not? And when does that need to be made by?
Will our Pablo, whichever one of you would like to update Kenny, probably Pablo.
Oh, I covered it. It was due on the 28th, and so I fronted the LPO the $2,500 in order to make sure we're locked into that place.
All right, thank you. And sorry if that got said and I just missed it. I'm sorry.
It was not
Pablo-
yet reported.
Pablo, would you like us to pay you back all in one lump sum, or would you like us to give you to pay you back some of that now?
I'll take a lump sum in the future, so we can continue to operate and not be at zero.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Also, thank you a lot for for doing that. That's a huge.
All right. Anything else for the convention committee? All right, hearing none. Without objection, I would like to go back to the campaigns report. I know we had a partial report from Will, but we actually have the committee chair present at this time, and we could, or I suppose I'll ask Matt whether he has a report ready.
I have a report ready, and forgive me for being a little late. I didn't know if Will was going to just report as the outgoing chair, or if I was supposed to be here, and I didn't get a link. So, but I got one. Will got one to me, and I'm here now. And so hopefully I'm not just repeating what Will said, but I think we had a very productive meeting a little late in February. And we talked about a number of things, developing a candidates portal on the website, the LPO website, where it shows deadlines, things of that nature. As soon as we have them for applicants or potential candidates to know the deadlines for running for office. Also, with the filing forms, the campaign manual we're putting together, which we hope to have ready by the convention. We'd like to have that on the candidates portal as well once we actually develop it. I'm working on putting together, and this is very preliminary. There was a thing called the bus project the Democrats used to use some years ago. There was an idea of taking a bunch of progressives or liberals or socialists or whatever you want to call them, and putting them in a bus and driving them to the districts across the state where their party wouldn't get any love. And they would blitz the district in a day and just drop lit on the doors. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, but they did win races. And it'd be great to try and put together a list of folks who would be willing to just sort of do that one weekend, a couple of weekends per election cycle, go out there and just flood districts. If we can even get 5 people, legislative districts, we can flood that district in one day, or the significant population areas and target precincts of it, depending on how geographically spread out it is. So there's a number of things we're working on, but there will be much more to report at the next meeting, because I'm hoping our next campaigns meeting will be later this month. We haven't set a date yet. We've got to make sure everything meshes with everyone's schedule. But there are some interesting plans in the works, but it also is going to depend on what we can do fundraising wise and the momentum we get out of the convention. And so I understand a lot of those things are sort of not on the back burner, but being paid attention to, with the understanding that the convention's in the foreground and needs to be addressed first. And I'm hoping we can potentially recruit some good candidates out of the convention. So all in all, just getting into the saddle, I feel very positive. I think we've got a lot of things going on. And again, I didn't prepare a formal report, though I will have one for next meeting. I would be certainly happy to answer any questions anyone has.
And I believe Pablo may have a question. Go ahead.
Matt, I love your idea about dropping literature on places. I wonder if I could be of assistance with some data on that. I'm looking at maps, and I'm looking at just a county level, but I'm pretty sure we can probably get more granular. But there are some counties in Oregon that voted 80% no on Measure 114. I believe this is an issue where there shows that on at least one issue, there's something the Libertarian Party has to say to these people. Maybe we can look at a map of Oregon and go by legislative district and see if there are key places where Measure 114 opposition was particularly strong, and maybe we know that they're going to be receptive on one very important issue to Libertarians. Maybe this is a good place we could drop lit. So if ever there's an opportunity for us to go over that data, or we can, if you have some advice on how we can cut data to make our message become more well received and support that, I'm willing to donate both time and be there to drop lit in such a case.
Well, Pablo, depending on your availability, let's try and get a phone call or an online meeting together this week, and we'll talk about what we need to do. Everything you're saying is spot on, though, right on what we need to be doing. And let's just see what we can do with our resources.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks.
So I'll shoot you an email tonight or either first thing tomorrow, and we'll set something up.
All right. I want to check with Will. Could we make sure that Matt has access to the candidates at lporegon.org email? I think that you have the credentials for that, but that's why I'm checking.
I don't know how to give people emails yet. You haven't shown me how to do that.
So I'm just talking about passing along the login credentials for that email.
Oh, I have that one? I didn't know I had that one. Sorry.
I think you have that one. It was along with several other.
Yeah, I know I have my name email, and then I have the Vice and that it's set up to go to that.
Right. So I believe I shared a Google sheet with you that had some organizational emails.
Oh.
And credentials. This is why I checked. All right. So I'll make sure to re-invite you to that. Okay. And we'll make sure that we have access where we need it. That candidates at lporegon.org, it's especially important because of our upcoming election for the leadership of the party. That's people are monitoring that. So
Yes, me and you definitely need to set up a time here pretty soon where you give me like all the keys to the kingdom. So or at least you show me how I can should I get elected chair. So
all right.
Yeah.
Sounds good. All right. Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Rao, for coming in and supplying a report. And we'll make sure that you are getting a link next time.
Thank you. And if
Okay.
anybody's got any questions, just hit me up on Discord.
Sounds good. All right. Moving back to the order of business. Next up was the 2023 LPO director elections. I don't have anything generally for this item, so I'll check with Pablo before we move on to the election policy that was prepared.
No updates.
Okay, so just to kind of summarize where we're at, we're pretty much ready on the technical side to conduct this election. There's some tests to be carried out to make sure that everything's going to work the way that we think it should, but it looks like we're good to go for using Election Buddy to gather the votes, and then we'll use the software that has been the kind of legacy software, if you will, that the party has been using to tabulate using the right system of transferable vote as called out in our bylaws to do the actual tabulation. So the other thing that we needed to do was last meeting we set some dates having to do with this election, but we didn't actually adopt a policy, and that has been how these things have been conducted in the past. It's probably the better way to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up this document. I would prefer not to go through the whole document. There are some items in there that are not for public consumption, just with regards to some procedures regarding security of the election. But it was sent out to the directors, and that was this evening, so perhaps not everyone's had time to review it, but are there any questions that I can answer? One thing that I'll say up front is that this is the same document that was used for the 2021 election when it was just a board of directors election. But I've gone through, updated the dates, and then I've also added a paper ballot request deadline. So our bylaws specify that an individual member may request to have a paper ballot. And so that date was added, and I made it the same as the day to file a candidacy or withdraw. That can be changed. All these dates can be changed. Anything in this policy can be changed. But then I also added a good number of gonna double check. I've added a number of references to electronic ballots. So there's a reference there. The notice mailing requirements for the electronic ballots. And again, I don't really want to go through the entire document, but are there any questions that I can answer? And do people feel ready to approve it?
I'll move to approve.
I'll
All right.
second.
Kenny moved to approve, Taylor seconded. Let's go ahead and have a vote. All of the voting directors that are in favor of adopting this policy as it appears, please say aye.
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 Aye. Are there any opposed? Okay, so there are some parts of this policy that aren't intended for publication, the draft language, as well as there's again some parts that are going to be redacted from the publication that have to do with regards to the security of the election. But otherwise, these rules will be published on the website. I'd need to mention to you, Pablo, that I believe notice. Yes, so the announcement for the party for this election is going to be is supposed to be made no later than, and I put today's date because I figured today was probably when we were going to approve the policy. So just to let you know, I'm going to work on the website after this meeting to make sure that we have what we need on the website.
Yeah, let me know when it's live, text me, and I'll post that on our social media, an announcement on the Twitter and Facebook, and then between those three, that should be pretty sufficient, I would assume. We don't have to email.
I would say an email would be a great idea. In the past, the elections have been restricted to LPO members who met certain criteria, but actually any LPO member can run for this in this election.
Okay, so
and then it's just restricted as to which members are allowed to vote for leadership. So anyone can run for, or any member can run for leadership, but a subset can vote for leadership. So I think notifying people, it's great if we do that kind of as broadly as possible.
okay, I just wanted to make sure like the email should, like, doesn't have to go out tonight.
No, yeah, so that's a good question. The minimum requirement is that the announcement be placed prominently on the LPO website. And so I'm going to make sure that all the information here is on our website tonight, but that's the only place that it's required by this policy.
Okay, I can put out an email tonight. I just want to know, like, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns? I'm going to switch back to the agenda with regards to the upcoming director elections.
Should I set up some kind of Zoom for the party so people can ask candidates for this questions? Would that be in order? Would there be a day that would be particularly good for people that are running to have something like that? Some kind of forum? How about a Wednesday like today? You should probably have something.
What have we done in the past?
Not much.
Okay, well, I would encourage at least having a Q&A opportunity in the Discord. But if people are able to do a live event, that would be great. We don't technically have anyone running quite yet because we haven't put out the announcement and then received notifications that people are running. Also, in order to be in the running, all candidates have to submit a statement of at least 100 words. So we definitely haven't had that occur yet. And that's required by the bylaws, not just the policy. Okay,
I do.
Go ahead,
enjoy
Kenny.
that- I was just going to say, I do enjoy that the bylaws require a 100-word statement, but that doesn't even have to be a coherent sentence.
It does not. All right. Open forum. Observers may speak on any item that they wish. We have a couple of observers. Do either of you have anything you wish to address? All right. Thank you very much for coming. And the next board meeting is set by policy for April 12th, 2023 at 7 p.m. It will be at the same link, which even the people on YouTube could type this into their web browser and find their way here. Not quite as easy to bomb as if we put the URL in the video description or anything like that. But we love to have observers, and I also want to check that this April 12th will work for the directors.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
In that case, I believe that we are concluded. Thank you, everyone.